you so much for joining us on Salam Media. I am your guest host for today and tomorrow, and I want to welcome you back. And for those of you who are following us and watching us, please give us a call on our studio line on 011 680 Feel free to WhatsApp us on 061 766 And of course, you can also find us on social media on X at Salam Media. That is our handle. And the hashtag is news and views. So we are going right into the next segment of the show where we are going to be interviewing a very interesting activist. His name is Comrade Gcobani Ndzongana. He is the leader of the Land Party. Some of you might be familiar with him. He is quite well known as an activist and politician associated with a few political parties. But on today's show, he's going to be talking to us about a Hout Bay fence controversy where basically residents of Hout Bay have blocked are preventing normal people, and here we're talking about wealthy residents in Hout Bay, are accused of blocking ordinary citizens, other citizens who are not residents, from accessing certain parts of the beach, certain parts of the mountain of Hout Bay. So he is on the line. Comrade Gcobani, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, my sister. How are you? Ramadan Karim.
Good morning, and thank you so much for being on the show. We really appreciate your time, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my sister. I also appreciate the fact that you invited me today.
So let's get straight into it, my brother. Can we talk about this situation? Perhaps you can explain. Many of our listeners do not actually understand the situation. So if you can just explain from the beginning, what is the problem in Hout Bay?
Okay, thank you very much. Salam alaikum to all the Muslim community and also Ramadan Karim to all those who are fasting. My sister, what is currently happening in Hout Bay, it's not exceptional, particularly in the Western Cape. It has been happening for many years. I've been observing what is currently happening in the Western Cape. What is happening before I come to the issue of Hout Bay, I want to give you a scenario of what is currently happening. In fact, in the past 15 years in the Western Cape, the Western Cape government has been doing exactly what the Israeli government is doing in Palestine, taking all important lands, available land, building very expensive settlements. You rather call them, some of them, retirement estates, others just estate houses for the particular rich people. In fact, most of those estates, they've got committees that they select who must stay in the property. And if you are non-white, you will not be able to stay there. Now, they've been doing this, taking all the land, going through to the Somerset West. Now, it happened that I went to Hout Bay. I was invited with one of my friends there. His name is Fadel. So I went there. When I went there, he showed me where they tried, as a community, colored community, tried to take the land because they are being prevented to have an access next to the ocean. They must be settled around, and they must not. The mountain and the ocean must be controlled by those who are wealthy. And now, while I was in this tour, I saw a very interesting fence, and I said, what is happening here? You know, and he explained to me that, look, this property has been bought by one of the Jewish Israeli guys, Jewish guys. So this is his property. I said, a mountain, his property. It was shocking. People can build in the mountain, but you cannot put such a fence where you prevent other people they cannot even go to the cliff of the mountain. And for us, traditionally, as people who are indigenous, both colored and blacks, we've got a spiritual, high spiritual connection with the nature. leave, ignore the whitewash that we do not love nature, we are disconnected, we don't like, we treat nature badly, including animals. We as Africans, we've got a very connection with the nature, very good connection. We can't survive without the nature. Mountain is part of that. In the mountain, you don't just find a peaceful environment. You don't just find a good air. You don't just find good plants. You also find a healing, that goes deeply, because the African culture goes with what you call African spirituality. Now,
Right.
when you deny people such a privilege, I mean, it simply says that, look, how the fence was built, exactly how the fence is built in Gaza, in Gaza. You'll be very shocked. I've worked in the correctional services. I've worked in maximum security, in CMEX. I can tell you, not even the prison fence is built in that way. That fence is totally dehumanizing. It's totally segregatory. It's discriminatory.
Yeah.
It's really an insult to the people of Hout Bay.
Let's talk about that fence, my brother, because I
Yes.
did see. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I am going to give you a chance to unpack in more detail. I did see a short video of you standing in front of this fence, and I must say it does look very intense. I mean, it's layered, it's got barbed wire at the top. So just explain to our listeners so they understand. If I do not live in that property immediately surrounding the mountain and the beach where that fence is, do I have access to the mountain and the beach?
Absolutely not. You do not have an access to the mountain, and also you do not have an access to the ocean. That is totally. I mean, this fence. It's really sad, my sister. If you can go there, it's also got cameras to see that it is done. It has been built for humans, to prevent humans not to have an access to their own land. This is a pure segregation. This is a pure disposition. I mean,
So how do they manage the people? So in other words, how do they know who lives there and who doesn't? Are people checked? How do they limit those who can access and those who can't?
currently the fence just has been put. No development that is currently happening. I mean, definitely they are using those CCTV to monitor if there is anyone who's coming closer to the fence or whatsoever, to monitor, to surveillance the colored community. I mean, also that is a violation of privacy, meaning that the people of Hout Bay in the colored community, they don't have a privacy. They don't have a privacy. Those cameras, never underestimate them. They can see you while you are inside your house. They can scan you. So that is the kinds of surveillance that has been put there. That surveillance only exists in Israel. Now, what does this mean? It tells you that there is an intention in the Western Cape to kick out the people of color, including the African people, out of the Western Cape and make Western Cape, particularly starting from the sectors of the Western Cape, of Cape Town, particularly Cape Town, and to kick out the colored and black people, and what to call gentrification, so that in the next future, all these people can be kicked out violently. This is District 6, Part 2, is happening under our watch, and it's very surprisingly that people are kept quiet. There is no action that is happening about that.
Tell me, where else have you seen this type of restriction to access things like the mountain or the beach, where the city of Cape Town is actually putting up these fences?
They once attempted to do it in Hermanas, in a place called Hermanas, and we fought and we prevented it, and it turned out to be violent. It became violent, and because they wanted to take this last portion of land and they wanted to build these beachfront houses so that they can contain black and colored people inside, and black and colored cannot have an access to the ocean. And we fought for that. We ended up forcing the provincial government buying that land for the community with the 36 million rand. Now, that was the first time it happened. It's the first time I see it practically happening in Hout Bay. It is shocking. It's a first experience in Hout Bay, and I can tell you it's not the last experience, because you can see the city of Cape Town is busy giving land and attracting the Israelis to the Western Cape to make sure that they're marketing these properties to the Israelis, so that those who are running away in Israel, they might have option, because Israel is no longer safe anymore. So Western Cape has become an alternative. So there is an agreement between the Western Cape government and the Israeli government to make sure that they resettle the Zionists into the Western Cape. And this is very dangerous.
So I am just going on to your X account, and I will actually retweet this for anyone who's following me. My handle is @PugsPHAKXX, where Mr. Gcobani is standing in front of this fence. And if I can just describe it to you, it's very, very severe. I mean, and in fact, he is correct. The last time I saw a fence of this nature was when I was looking at the checkpoints in Gaza. So I think you are not exaggerating, Mr. Gcobani, when you say that this is like Gaza, because it actually does look like Gaza. My question is that now that this issue has been raised, what kind of mobilization is your organization involved in trying to sensitize the community around what does seem to be some kind of attempt to frustrate and limit the access of indigenous people being able to access things like the mountain and the sea, which rightfully belongs to them?
Currently, my sister, we set up a meeting with the community, with the leadership of Hout Bay. We will have that meeting very soon. The community, we also engage the community of Nomzamo, which is a black community. They also invited me. We're also trying to set up a meeting which will collaborate both communities. Not only those communities, we're also mobilizing communities outside of Hout Bay that can be able to there is a particular date, a strategy that we want to implement, whereby the whole community, black and colored in Hout Bay, will be protesting from Hout Bay to the city of Cape Town, in the heart of the city of Cape Town. I mean, raising our dissatisfaction about this kind of racism, about this kind of discrimination. So we're busy currently mobilizing communities. I think you can see not only in the city of Cape Town, even outside municipalities, you can see in the past few months, I've been mobilizing communities in the Overstrand. You can see for yourselves. So currently, our strategy is to combine communities to stand together, like the UDF days, whereby we're doing mass mobilization, so that in future, in due course, we can be able to lead a very massive protest, which might take people from Khayelitsha and other sectors, including Langa, Kukuletu, supporting the people of Hout Bay, where we can go and close the town peacefully without absolutely no violence.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. That was the leader of the land party, Mr. Gcobani Ndzongana, on Salam Media, unpacking for us this situation regarding the Hout Bay fence controversy, where black and colored residents are being actively blocked through fences that, reminiscent of Gaza, from being able to access the beach and being able to access the mountains. This is definitely a story that I think Salam Media should watch. We need to carefully note these developments. We cannot allow situations where elements of apartheid Israel are allowed to entrench themselves in our country. And on that note, we're going to take a quick ad break, and we'll be back with the next segment of the show.